Yeah, I think it's getting to the point where I might just have to bite the bullet and pay for the Workspace Pro on this, so we don't have to keep joining back every 40 minutes.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, you're good. Yeah, I was just saying I might just have to bite the bullet on this one and upgrade already.
Yeah, you might have to. I guess we'll give everybody. Before it ended, Jake, what was I saying?
Just kind of wrapped up, making sure everybody understands and everybody's good from uh, everything we've gone over so far. Just the basic calculator, it's long term rentals, and then I think that's where we kind of left off.
Did you see me going through the calculator on the seller finance part, or did it
No,
already?
no, not yet, not yet.
Okay,
Yeah, we
dang.
just got to the end of the sub two.
Probably. That's. I started explaining the seller finance one, and I guess I didn't realize it ended.
I have a question real quick before we go on.
What's up?
Okay, so is square footage a factor or a significant factor in market rent? So let's say there's a 3 bed, 2 bath, and the market rent in that city goes for 2,000 a month, but one property is, let's say 500 to 1,000 feet square foot smaller. Could you still get that same rent for the smaller property?
Um,
You're breaking up. Guy needs new Wi-Fi in the duplex. It looks like.
we are trying to.
Uh, But Amber, I would say, well, just kind of going, if you to kind of look for accurate market rent, kind of as you're kind of use kind of like a comping software.
Uh,
So like Privy, I know they have a section of rents that are in the area, and then you can just kind of pull from properties that look the same and are around the same square footage, and you kind of use their monthly rent as a kind of a starting point, and that would kind of give you a good accurate kind of guesstimate of what it looks like in the area. And then you can kind of keep looking through the properties there. And then, you can go on to what the other, platform, the Renometer is the free website to, get like accurate market rents. So you just kind of use different kind of scenarios. So you can use comping, or you can use, third-party websites to find accurate, rent, rates.
Okay, that's a good idea. Thank you.
Yeah.
Go Pocket says one too.
Am I still breaking up?
There we go. You're good now.
Okay. Did you answer her question or?
Yeah. Well, I just said you can use comps off Privy, or you can use, Renometer, or Ed said you can use Bigger Pockets to find accurate, rent rates, unless you have another
Right.
way you go about.
Yeah, and no, those are the ways. And then for the square footage thing, I would only use comps that are probably within 100 to 200 square feet, just to stay as accurate as possible. Because once it starts getting to be like 500 to 1,000 square feet, more or less, then typically your rent won't be very accurate if you're using those comps. So
Okay,
I would
perfect.
just always keep that in mind.
All right, sounds good. Thank you.
Yep. Okay. Are we waiting on anybody, or am I good?
Yeah, you're good. Go ahead.
All right. So for seller finance, I don't know if it already ended before I got to this part, but I was saying that with seller finance, calculation wise, just to see if it'll cash flow, it's pretty much the exact same as a subject to calculator. It's just a different form of financing. So, and we don't have any seller finance deals going on right now, like just full 100% seller finance. So, I will just have to use stupid numbers for you guys and just plug them in and just show you what a good deal and a bad deal would look like. So for this one, let's say the seller is wanting $200,000 and then a 5% interest rate, which those can always be negotiated all the way down to 0%. It kind of just depends on what the seller wants, which is nice. So like 0% interest rate, obviously that would be a crazy cash flowing deal. So it kind of just depends on what the seller wants and their needs. So that just comes down to you guys negotiating with them on that. Same with down payment too. Um, I'll probably put a down payment cell right it or a little row right in here just to calculate that, because with those you will usually have a down payment unless you can get zero down. And then if you can get zero down, then obviously that's even better. But those are pretty rare. So let's just say seller wants $200,000, 5% interest, and then zero down. Since I forgot to put that row in here, I apologize for that, guys. So your PI is only almost right under 1,100, and then you do in all of your factoring in costs to be conservative, and then your taxes and insurance. You don't pay taxes on well, I guess you do pay property taxes. I meant you don't pay, well, I guess you do pay insurance too. It kind of just depends. Sometimes I've heard some people, they don't have to pay insurance because they have some sort of workaround, but I don't think that's very legit. So always account for taxes and insurance too, still. And then you'll have your operating expenses just like the Subto calculator. And then you'll have your cash flow analysis just like the Subto. And this one would obviously cash flow pretty good. It's just under $300. So that would be a good deal. So if you guys are ever getting into seller finance, I would again look for something that's cash flowing, typically around $200 at least, just so you're actually making something. and have enough to put into some sort of reserve for maintenance and occupancy and management. So, and then a bad deal would kind of look like just like they want $200,000 for the purchase price, but some sellers are kind of crazy and want like a 10% interest rate, which is obviously they're never going to get that. And there are sellers like that. Trust me, we've seen some pretty crazy deals from sellers that wanted something like that. So if a seller ever wants like 10% interest, obviously that's not going to work at all because usually like 99% of the time you will not cash flow at all if they want something absurd like that. And sometimes they'll be like that with down payments too. Maybe they'll want like $100,000 down on a $300,000 house. And maybe that's just the type of situation they're in, and you might have to get even more creative on it. But that can be a Zoom for another time if Jake ever has me back on here. And I can explain to how you would usually go about a seller finance deal with a stupid high down payment and your options on that. But for now, I'll just keep it simple. So that's kind of just what a bad and good deal looks like. It's kind of the same as subject to, just try to look for something that's at least cash flowing around $200. And then if it's cash flowing even more, then obviously that's a really, really awesome deal. And then the last type of deal, just for subject to and seller finance, is a hybrid deal. And that is when you are taking over the existing mortgage, but they have enough equity built in their home where they want that equity paid off too. So then there's also a seller finance portion, and sometimes they will want a balloon on that, but I think I said earlier, I just tried to keep these as simple as possible, just for plug and play numbers, and then you'll get your cash flow when you have all the numbers you need. So, like for example, I'll just plug in some numbers in here. I already plugged some in here, but say they have $100,000 in equity built, and
I'm really
you
sorry. Are you're not showing any grid right now?
oh, I wasn't
Tables.
sharing my screen.
No.
I'm sorry. I thought I was. That's my bad. I thought I was sharing my screen the whole time. Is it sharing now?
Yeah.
Okay. So I guess I'll go back to here and show you guys this real quick. Sorry about that. So for the 5% interest and the seller wants 200,000, then right here, when you have all your numbers plugged in and operating expenses, then you will have your cash flow analysis right here. And it's just like the Subto calculator. It'll give you your monthly net and your annual net. And then the bad deal was maybe the seller wants 10% interest, which is pretty crazy. You have all your numbers in there, then it'll spit it out right here. And obviously that's a pretty bad deal. So um, I would always, if a seller wants a really high interest rate, I would try your best to negotiate that down, because 9 times out of 10, it will just not cash flow and then it won't be a deal. And then the hybrid deal, the example I have right here is $100,000 built in equity that the seller has, and then you're taking over their existing mortgage. Maybe and I just have $150,000 is left on the principal, and then 6% interest, and then you just do that. It's basically just having the seller finance and subject to just right here. It's really not that different. I feel like a lot of people will try to overcomplicate things, and I feel like as soon as you get it down, it's not as complicated as a lot of people make it out to be. And then once you have those numbers, the terms with the seller, and then you have your numbers from the mortgage statement for the subject to part, then you just throw in your operating expenses and then your market rent, or the rent that it would rent for. And then it'll just show you the cash flow analysis. And this one it's under 200, but if the seller, this is the best you can negotiate, then I mean, it's not a no-go. So I would still probably go for a deal like this, just because it's still cash flowing over $100. But that's kind of it. I try to make it as simple as possible. So, and then if Jake shares these calculators in the Facebook group, all the green cells, I know I have it right here at the top, but they all have the formulas in them. So don't mess with them unless you want to like change something up. You guys can always add or take away whatever you want. So that's kind of it for the calculators and underwriting them to get the cash flow. So if you guys have any questions, um, feel free to ask, and I'll do my best to answer.
Yeah, and after this, once I start downloading the recordings, and whenever I send out the recordings to the Facebook group, I'll attach this to that as well, so that you guys have access to it. But then, other than that, Gavin, where can these fabulous people get in touch with you?
Um, if you guys want to get in touch with me, probably just my phone number. I'll just send it to Jake, and he can, or I guess I can drop it in the chat.
Yeah,
If
go
you want.
ahead. Plug in your phone number. Plug in any socials you have, and um, give people a direct source to you.
Oh, I see somebody asked, how would you talk the seller down on interest rate? I don't know if I said that already, but when you're negotiating with sellers, I mean, it kind of just depends on what they want. So you'll just have to do your best on figuring out their situation and what they need. And maybe sometimes they need a higher down payment. And if you want a lower interest rate, sometimes you can kind of negotiate it down, if they want the higher down payment. And then sometimes they want a higher interest rate and a lower down payment. So it kind of just comes down to what they need and what their situation is, and then that's kind of how you can figure out and gauge what you need to negotiate down on if you need to. But here's my number in chat if anybody would like to get in touch with me or has any other questions they want to ask outside of this. I answer fast, or I try to most of the time anyways. So it's in there if you guys want it. And if you guys need help on any creative deals outside of this, I always try to hop on calls and help you guys out if you need it.
Right. Do you have any socials or anything?
Yeah, I'll drop my
And then other than
Instagram.
that, what'd you guys think of this? Did you guys learn something? No, I learned something for sure. For sure. I got a nice load of notes right here. So, oh yeah, calculators are for sure your friend, for sure. But yeah, other than that, I'll make sure also to put in the Facebook group if to kind of have some topics that you guys want to learn about. We can learn about have Gavin back on and talk about wraps and how to underwrite Airbnbs. Um, but other than that, Gavin, I appreciate you for coming out, man. I really do.
Yeah, guys, no problem. And I hope I was actually able to help. This is actually my first time ever teaching like a pretty big group. So hopefully you guys actually were able to take something away from this. I try my best to explain things, but it's my first time, so I'm working on it.
Oh yeah, we're always learning. We're always learning. Last week was my first time trying to teach something too, so
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
the
sad
same.
I missed that. I forgot about it. I really wanted to see you do that, see if you were messing up or anything. But
Awesome.
yeah, if you guys want to see other Zooms where I show you guys how to underwrite specific exits for creative strategies, then I'd be more than happy to do that for you guys.
Yeah, and whatever you guys want to learn, comment under the Facebook group, or reach out to Gavin or to myself, and we'll make sure we set that up. I know after we do the multifamily underwriting, we don't have anything any other topics planned for that, I want to open that up to you guys, for you guys to pick and choose what you guys want to learn about. So, but other than that, I'll make sure to start getting this stuff downloaded, and look out for the post in the Facebook group. I'll have, part 1 and part 2 of the recordings and the spreadsheets, and hopefully next time I'll bite the bullet and we'll have the Workspace Pro for Zoom, so we don't have to keep leaving and rejoining.
I'm praying.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There will be. We'll count that as a tax write-off. So, yeah. All right. Well, then that.
Thanks,
Thank
guys.
you. We'll see y'all soon. All right.
See you guys later. Have a good week, guys.